Good morning. Of course, welcome to our, I believe this is Sunday school number 16. So we've been doing this for a decent amount of time, so I hope you guys are ready to jump right in and see what God has in store for us today on what He wants us to learn together. Mhm. So let's go. All right. So let me actually bring us in prayer first, so then we can go ahead and jump into our lesson. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for just allowing us to all gather together in your midst and learn so many different things within you, Father. Lord, we know that you have created each and every one of us to do great things within you. And the great things within you starts with us learning more about you and listening to what you want us to do, Lord. So we will be taking heed to everything that we are hearing today, everything that we've learned today, so that we can apply it to our lives. In your name I pray. Okay. So, like I was saying, I hope you guys had a great night, uh, and that you are waking up this morning, just being joyful, ready to praise God and just give Him something different today. All right. So let's see today. So we have been going over uh, New Old Testament history type of things, and this one is about King Saul. All right, so of course I will have some scriptures that I will read so that we can um, go together and read those things and then have the questions right after that so we can get a better understanding. All right, so before that, what I have here is just giving a kind of a run of a very, very quick um, overview of Saul. First off, it says that Saul was he was a very seemed like a very shy person, more like to himself. So that's what it says originally. He seemed to be reserved, or that he was shy, didn't really like to talk to people. And this, of course, we're coming out of the book of Samuel, written by Samuel, and he it says that he has his private accounts of Saul and the things that he saw from Saul is showing in this what we're going to be reading. And he just overall showed people what it was like to be around him at that time. All right, so it says that's more in chapter 9, so we might, well, one time let's go back and read that one. But all right, so let's jump right into, so we're coming from First Samuel chapter 10, and we're reading verses 9 through 27. Right. As Saul turned and started to leave, God gave him a new heart, and all Samuel's signs were fulfilled that day. When Saul and his servants arrived, they saw a group of prophets coming towards him. Then the Spirit of God came powerfully upon Saul, and he began to prophesy. When those who knew Saul heard about it, they exclaimed, "What? Is Saul even a prophet? How did the son of Kish become a prophet?" One of those standing there said, "Can anyone become a prophet who, no matter who his father is?" So is the origin of the saying, "Is Saul even a prophet?" And that's the asking question. When Saul had finished prophesying, he went up to the place of worship. "Where have you been?" said Saul's uncle. And another servant, we were looking for the donkeys, Saul replied, but we cannot find them. So he went to Samuel to ask him where they were. Oh, what did he say? Asked his uncle. He told us that the donkeys had already been found. Saul replied, but Saul didn't tell his uncle what Samuel had said about the kingdom. Verse 17. Later, Saul called to all the people of Israel to meet before the Lord of Zebah. And he said, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, has declared. I brought you from Egypt and rescued you from the Egyptians and from all the nations that were oppressing you. But through I have rescued you from many miseries and distress. You have rejected your God today and have said, no, we want a king instead. Now, therefore, present yourselves before the Lord by tribe and clans. So Samuel brought all the tribes of Israel before the Lord, and the tribes of Benjamin, who chose by lot. Then he brought each family of the tribe of Benjamin before the Lord, and the family of the Mennonites was chosen. And finally Saul came to Kish, who was chosen amongst them. When they looked for him, he had disappeared. So the Lord asked, where is he? See? All right, so what verse am I down to? All right, verse 22. And the Lord replied, he is hiding amongst the baggage. So they found him and brought him out, and he stood head and shoulders above anyone else. Then Samuel said to all the people, this is the man the Lord has chosen as your king. No one in all of Israel is like him. And all the people shouted, long live the king. Then Samuel told the people that the rights and duties of what the rights and the duties of the king were. He wrote them down on the scroll and placed it before the Lord. Then Samuel sent the people home again. When Saul returned to his home, and a group of men whose hearts God had touched went to him, but there were more 100 who complained, how come this man has to save us? And they scourged him and refused to bring him gifts, but Saul ignored them. Okay, all right, so I think that was it. I'm trying to read on a little further to see if that is. Okay, so yeah, that's the rest of that scripture. All right, so of course I know that was a lot of reading. So let's jump into some of these questions. All right, so number one, people who knew Saul, so who knew him previously, people who knew Saul noticed something different about him. And what was that thing that they noticed that was different about him? Number two, in verse 16, what does Saul tell his uncle about his encounter with Samuel? What does what does Saul tell his uncle about his encounter with Samuel? Number three, Samuel is not exactly thrilling about telling Israel demanding a king. What does he say Israel has done to God as he calls for them to be present in front of the Lord to meet their new king? So, and I know I usually read through all of them, but I'm going to stop at those three, go back and give the answers for those, because this was definitely a lot of reading. Right, so, number one again, for the people who knew Saul, so previously, the people who knew Saul noticed something different about him. And what was that? It was that he was prophesying. And that, like I was saying at the beginning, you know how he was known to be someone that was shy or reserved. Or so for him to be prophesying, saying things out loud and just doing that, that was different for people that knew him. That was different for them to see. So he was just, they were just looking at him because it was something out of the normal for him. And number two, in verse 16, okay, and I think I read that question wrong the first time. It actually says, why doesn't Saul tell his uncle about his encounter with Saul? Okay. And when Samuel was telling Saul about, him becoming the king and doing all those things to bring him up, it just goes to one of those things like it says that he was shy. He didn't want to be in front of all those people and all those things. So he didn't tell his uncle because he didn't want him to know. He didn't want to have to face the questions and things like that. So that is something on that. And another thing, it could be, sometimes we are told certain things about ourselves, and we necessarily don't believe it within ourselves. So if someone tells you, "Oh, you're great at this and that," but we don't end up seeing ourselves that way. So that's maybe on the lines of how he was feeling. That even though someone was coming before him, making him aware that God has chosen him to be the king during this time, he may have been up to a point where he didn't believe it himself. So that's could have been one of those things on why he did not exactly tell his uncle what was going on in that situation. All right. And number three, Samuel is not exactly thrilled by Israel demanding a king. What does he say to Israel has done to their God as he calls for them to present themselves before the Lord and meet their new king? And that was the part where he was saying that they had been rejecting God, that they weren't doing what uh, God had told them to do after all the things that he brought them through and how many things that he's helped them escape and get away from. So Samuel was pretty much saying that, yes, I can see that you guys are rejecting our God and yet demanding certain things. So that's why he did not he did not want to give them this information. He wasn't happy to give them this information, of course, because they were also demanding it. All right. So let's see. Now we can go on to the next three. All right. When they attempted to introduce Saul, where was he? So number four, when they attempted to introduce Saul, where was he? Five, once they seen Saul, what did the people notice and what did they say? And number six, as the chapter was coming to an end, what do we read about the people's um, what their perspective of Saul? So pretty much, I'm going to reword that question. So once we got towards the end of the verses, so that's mainly between verses 20, I would say 23 to 27. What was the people's perspective of Saul? All right. All right. So back to number four. When they attempted to introduce Saul, where was he at? Um, it says in that part, it said he was hiding in. Of course, this book might say it different, but he was hiding amongst the baggage or supplies or just where everything was being stored. That's where he was hiding so that he was hoping that no one would be able to find that he was in there or to even look that he was in there. All right. And once they brought him out of the hiding, because of course they did find exactly where he was at. Uh, Once they brought him out, what did the people notice and what did they say about him? Right. It said that they could notice how tall he was, how he was much taller than anyone around. So he was standing, staturing over everyone, over most people around, and they all stated. So when Samuel presented him, it said, "This is the man that God wants to be your new king." Um, I guess it was a out of respect thing, but they all said, "Long live the king," showing that they are accepting that he is going to be their king. They were accepting that he is going to rule them and take them into their next era. Right. In number six, like I was saying, as the chapter ended, what were some of the people's perspective of Saul? Um, so even though, like I was saying, they all accepted that he was going to be the new king and so on and so forth for that, they all, well, not all of them, some of them still doubted him. They doubted that he would be able to be a great leader to them, and just overall doubted his leadership skills, in that they felt like he had nothing to offer them, that he wouldn't be able to help them progress as a people, like all the tribes. So they pretty much got to a point where they were feeling that he wasn't gonna be able to do what they needed him to do, and they just didn't have faith that he would be able to. Right? So when all the odds and things like that come against us, um, unfortunately, and you guys at the age that you are, I'm sure that you go through this at school or wherever you are. Someone is always going to have something to try to say. Someone is going to see that light in your life. They might not know what it is, or they may not know why they act a certain way towards you. But the enemy will try to use anyone to try to downplay what he has set before you, so that so the enemy can try to make you feel that you can't get to that point, or that you can't be successful in any type of area or where he has brought you up to be. So just thinking about it and looking at it that way, people will always be there. But on the flip side, God is always there. He is with you in every single aspect. He is never going to leave or forsake you, and he will be there to protect you. We just have to make sure that we are being diligent with giving things to him, so that he can overall help you with any battles that you may go through, any battles that may try to arise or come up against you. Because he is your father and he wants the best for you. He wants you to fully succeed in him and not have to worry that he doesn't have your back. Because if you feel like there is no one else around you that is going to be there for you in your corner to help rise you up to what you're supposed to be, the Lord will always be there for you. Right? So that's what I have for you guys today. Of course, don't go anywhere because we will still have our Sunday services. So stay tuned for that, and just like I always say, come in with an open mind, open ears, ready to hear what the Lord has to say, and just allow Him to work out the old things that are not like Him and bring in the new things that are like Him. Amen. All right. You guys have a wonderful day.